That's it. There we go. All right. Stupid. My computer did a reboot. OBS did a reboot, and I forgot to check and make sure the microphone was working. That's what happens at whatever. All right, here we go. Hey everyone, welcome. Sorry I was not around on Monday. I got a really quick, weird, head cold where my voice disappeared, my face filled up with snot, and I was like, I'm not doing anything. So, took a couple of days, got better. The voice is a touch scratchy, so I don't know if it will come in and out at times. You'll hear me clearing my throat quite a bit, but we're back. Nothing too exciting happening over the past couple of days. We had yet another cusip change for many brokers that I think are APX related, especially Webull. It sounds like Apex got one giant certificate for the MMTLP or a next bridge, and that whenever they break off a chunk and send it to AST, they make a whole new cusip. I don't know why, but that's what they do. So, okay. And now Webull is telling people they can't register anymore. But I mean, why not? They haven't really given any good reasons as to why you can't register. But let's say, monkey, a sad dog on the floor over yonder because there's a champion beast who claimed the throne tonight, and his name is Chalupa Batman, and he is a winner, right? Oh, I'll get that little winner. Okay. Oh crap! I forgot to announce this. And I have no idea if it's even working. Marius and I, BLSP Black Death, we created a membership on the channel. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if anyone's subscribed. But it's like an alternative to doing Patreon, which I've been pretty terrible at. Various membership levels. When enough members get signed up, I will do like members only shows. I'm gonna talk to the college and see if I'll be allowed to live stream my courses. I don't know. They might have ownership over that and be like, no, we're paying you to teach this class, not to live stream to the internet. But if they allow me, I'll do like a members only, and you guys can listen in on my astronomy courses. So next April, this coming April, you'll be able to take basically astronomy 101 with Houston Wade. And what other thing? Oh, I'm trying. All right, I want to make a merch thing. Basically so I can make goofy t-shirts with monkey butt on them and people wear them. But I have no idea who to choose. There's like 50 different companies and I'm paralyzed with choice and I have no idea which is the best one. I kind of narrowed it down to, I think it's called Printful and Printify, the two different companies. And basically because they've got like little things to help you design logos, and because I have no artistic skill, hopefully that can help design goofy shirts. But some shirts I'm thinking about. I want in Japanese, my fish wears a mattress with a crowd at a Mariners game yelling it. And I want be stronger than your lizard brain. I don't know, be like a lizard holding a brain flexing. And then I want like a sweatshirt that's got Monkey Butt's face on one side. It says Monkey Butt. And then Monkey Butt's butt on the other side. It says Destroyer of Worlds. Those are the only ideas I have so far. Maybe I'd be a Chalupa Batman shirt in there somewhere. Maybe just an entire black shirt. Say somewhere in here is a Chalupa Batman. Anyway. And did I have anything else to update, Monkey? I don't know. I promised myself I was going to choose by Saturday and then end up being just paralyzed with choice again as to what I was going to do. And I don't know. Too many options. Like I look at options. I go, I need like two options, and I can just pick one. one terrible option, one good option, and I choose the good option. So, okay. Is there other stuff? I don't know. Well, whatever. We'll just do that. And off. After dark off, regular intro off, we're good. Okay. Flip a Batman, centered up there. I'm discombobulated. I'm all over the place. So I'm going to have the chat just go to sort of focus me on something. Mario Valdez. Hey, HW. Have you seen the huge storm cloud from the burning chemicals in Ohio? How much devastation do you think this may actually cause? There is already a lot of dead wildlife being reported. Sad. Yeah, so the vinyl chloride, and there's some other chemicals in it too. I can't remember the other cars that burned up, but vinyl chloride was the main one. It was a million gallons of vinyl chloride that was released / burned up. So vinyl chloride itself, at various levels from 5 parts per million to 10,000 parts per million, whatever, basically destroys your liver. It goes straight to your liver to process, and it just kind of blows up your liver, and you die. It's also a carcinogen, so it can lead to all sorts of weird, very aggressive cancers, leukemias, lymphomas, you name it. And it appears to be killing off some family pets. So there's cats and stuff that are left behind. Like, oh, let's put an extra bowl of food for the cat and leave. And the cat took on way too much vinyl chloride, and its liver is now just fatty blob, and it's dying or has died. There's reports of wildlife, deers, bunnies, foxes, coyotes, etc. that have passed away. Lots of fish. I've seen some videos where they put floats, little floats out on streams and rivers to block, because this stuff is lighter than water, so it hits the little pontoon and it will get stopped, and the rest of the water will flow underneath. It's a great way to corral petrochemicals, but the fish all behind that thing are all dead from various things when they burned it off. So their solution was, okay, this stuff might make a Blevy explosion, which would be absolutely terrible. You don't want a Blevy explosion. If you don't know what a Blevy explosion is, it's a boiling liquid evaporate explosion. BLEVE. And this is when you have a pressurized container, like a train car that holds one of these things, and there's a fire. The fire's heating this thing. It has not cracked. There's no fire inside of it yet, and it starts to get to boiling temperature. It wants to turn to gas, and it rips apart the train car in a giant steam explosion of whatever the chemical is, and all that catches fire at once, and the explosions are huge. If you ever want to go down a crazy rabbit hole, look at Blevy explosions. They happen a lot with oil train cars and stuff, and these explosions can launch shrapnel miles away. People will find chunks of railroad cars 10 miles away in their yards. The explosions are huge. So the EPA is we can't have a Blevy explosion of this because it will just wipe out the town. Remember that town in Quebec that blew up and disappeared a few years ago from a derailment? This train car went up a little hill. It parked because the conductor was going to take a nap for the night or whatever. And he didn't put chains behind the train line, or the brake snapped, and it rolled backwards in this town, got to a huge rate of speed, derailed, and then blew up the entire town. That was a Blevy explosion that did it. And it just killed 1,000 people. So EPA is we can't have a Blevy explosion. So we're going to put charge in the sucker, light it off, and it's going to burn everything up. Well, when this vinyl chloride, which is used to make plastics, vinyls, things like that, when this vinyl chloride catches fire, it breaks into hydrochloric acid and into phosgene. And phosgene is one of the chemicals they invented to kill people during the First World War. It's 10 times more deadly than chlorine gas. It is absolutely gnarly. The hydrochloric acid gets to the atmosphere, mixes with the water, becomes sulfuric acid, and this is super intense amounts of sulfuric acid. You can see photos and videos of cars that went through rain clouds that were east of East Palestine, and Palestine, I think they call it. And like the paint's stripped off. There's like plastics melted on the cars from the raindrops. You know, their wiper blades are like completely eaten away. It's this stuff will kill trees, will melt limestone buildings, cement roads, statues, things like that. Um, it's gonna be bad. And how much of that material like settled into the local area before it ever got blown away, because the solution to pollution is dilution. Um, if you're gonna blow that sucker up, you want to make sure there's crazy winds to just disperse it as far as you can, so it just mixes throughout the atmosphere, and we go, whew, okay, that was bad, but at least it's like spread out. But when they blew it up, it was pretty calm day, not very much winds. You can see like the cloud kind of expand out in a circle. There's no tail to it because there's no wind. So my guess is it went out, and some of it remained suspended because it was pretty warm, that cloud. But a lot of it just went right back down again before the weather could mix in with it. So I bet there's a large area affected with these chemicals. Some scientists are saying it's equivalent of like Chernobyl. We won't necessarily know probably for months or years. But I wouldn't hang out in that part of Ohio or Pennsylvania. I would. I mean, a lot of people don't have the money to. It's not wealthy. It's just very blue collar areas. They don't have the money to just basically like walk away from their homes and go somewhere else. Their jobs are there. Their home they own is there. Things like that. So my guess is a lot of people will return. They'll have their pets get weird cancers, or they'll just kind of die. We'll start to see these pockets of cancers form in certain people. I have no idea how the groundwater is going to be affected. I wouldn't doubt if we see die-offs happen downstream as it makes the Ohio River and the Mississippi. If we see die-offs of fish along the way, it's not good. I mean, the Obama administration put in new rules to update the braking requirements of trains in the U.S. Basically, we had Civil War era brake systems, and we're like, hey, let's make better brake systems. So we passed a law in like 2015 or something to do that. And then 2018, the Trump administration went, nope, remove that law. You can have your Civil War brakes. And that seems to be a big problem. Also, this administration, this current Biden administration, helped quell a lot of the safety concerns of unionized railroad workers. They were like, hey, I'm not really saying like, hey, we don't get time off, we don't get sick pay, we're worked to the bone, and there's huge safety problems we need to address, or else there's going to be a disaster that happens. And we have like 1,700 derailments in the U.S. every year. It's crazy how many trains derail. Probably because we got these Civil War era brakes. But the rail workers saying something like this is going to happen, and then boom, something like this happened. When I worked at the Art Institute, my classroom overlooked the rail line along the water, and these huge, 200-300 car trains full of oil from the oil sands in Alberta would make their way past me, and it would go past me for maybe another quarter mile, and then would hit a tunnel and go under Seattle and out. And it would be crossing just a dozen roads along the way, of stoplights and the little arms that come down right along the waterfront. And every time one of those trains would go by, and they go by every hour or so, I'd watch the train go by, and I would just think, like, okay, a block away, there's some truck stuck on the road. This train hits it. It's not going very fast, but hits it, it derails. A couple of cars flip over, and a fire starts. Okay, fire starts. Bloody explosion wipes out downtown Seattle. Done. There goes 40 blocks. Shrapnel, 5,000 dead, you name it. And that's kind of how that's how I'm thinking. Like we've got these pretty antiquated rail systems in the U.S. A lot of them are legacy rail systems because GM and Firestone destroyed a lot of the railways back in the 30s or 50s, and we don't really upgrade what we have. So, yeah. Anyway, I think there's going to be a lot of issues coming up in the years in that region of Ohio and Pennsylvania. The wind usually is prevailing to the east, so it's coming from the west, blowing east. So people are east of there, out to Pittsburgh. You know, it could be like 100-mile wide, 150-mile wide swath of devastation that happens from this stuff. It takes a little while for these chemicals to get into the cells and the systems of plants and animals. Because everything wants to try and live. The systems are gonna try to like adapt to whatever chemicals in their system, and but cancers form. It's gonna mutate some genes. It's gonna scar some lungs. It's gonna poison some blood. It's gonna coat some lungs. It's gonna be brutal, man. So yeah. Um, yeah, a wonderful note to start the day off. Okay, whole bunch of chats happened while I was blabbing on that. Meow meow. I just tried joining and YouTube said my payment failed, but my card says the payment went through. YouTube. I don't know how to fix that. Meow meow. Yell at YouTube? Be like, hey, it went through. YouTube, so far in my experience, the 2 times I've had to contact YouTube customer support, they've been the most spectacular customer support I have ever encountered in my entire life. I recommend them above all else. I think they are absolutely stupendously fantastic. I moved my butt a little corner there. So give them a call or message or whatever. They'll work it out. They're really good at that. As for me, I don't know how. Carlos Cruz, 5DY 37 Hale Y Goodwig, fourth call CF 36 5DY United Kingdom. What? Is this an address? Am I supposed to go to an address, United Kingdom? Control C. I forgot to reopen Google Earth here. Google Earth Pro, go Google Earth, go. Bam. Google Earth. Bam. Okay. Bam. Is this something? 5DY. It's doing something. I'm going to a place. I'm going here. I'm going right there. 5DY. I'm at a house. Got a skate park that's shaped like a penis. That's why I'm there. Oh. That's why I'm there today. It's a skate park shaped like a penis. Porthcrawl skate park. Where you can bowl some balls right there. So many schlongs. And a few hoo-haws out there. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Carlos. Got ourselves a schlong skate park. Okay. Drop in that bowl. Frosted Flakes, welcome to Monkey Butt Admire. Hey, we have a member. All right, it works. Okay. How do I see how many there are? Have there other people been members? I think it gives you like a little tag, a little helmet, a little space helmet because we're going to space. All right, click there. Click there. I go to YouTube Studio. Does it tell me? That's subscribers. That is, I have no idea. Marius, how do I check? There? I have no idea. Oh, view. Okay. One member. Yes. We got one. Sucker. All right. Okay, we got one. Cool. All right. Spartan, Houston. Bonjour from Montreal. Any thoughts on Bed Bath & Beyond? Are they going to divulge the mysterious lender? Just a hunch, but I think it will rock it. Their filings have been really weird, haven't they? The CEO bought a boatload of shares. They announced that they're going to sell a bunch of shares, but it's going to be to, what do they call it, Monkey? She's looking at me like, why are you asking me, dude? Not a founder. What's the term for it? Gosh dang it. Not a founder. It's what you term when you're doing an IPO, and it's not an underwriter, not a founder. Why is Jack Reacher popping in my head? That makes no sense. But anyway, they're selling to a certain type of group that seems to fund IPOs. So there's a rumor there might be a re-IPO of the stock. Basically, they like take it all in, destroy it, reissue a bunch of shares, which would force closing on shares. I don't know if that's entirely true, but that's a rumor. What's the name of that stupid word, Monkey? Oh, I can't think. But and you know, there's still the rumors that Ryan Cohen is buying Baby and incorporating it into Gmerica and everything. I'm sure we'll see it when it happens. What is it sitting at right now? It is at $1.93. That's probably good. If crazy things are going to happen, that's probably a pretty darn good price for it to be. It bottomed at $1.86 today. And I mean, it hit a high of almost $6. I think it was over $6 intraday, but I mean, just a week ago it was $5.86. So we've got incredible volatility. I get paid on the 20th, so nothing should happen until the 20th, before the 20th, so that I can perhaps get a dozen or so calls, set for maybe a couple months out. But the price is still like $1.80 at that time. That's pretty good. I'll get what I can, because I think it's gonna have another spike in there somewhere. It's really volatile. Andrew Freeman forgot to send with message. Did you send with a message? Andrew Freeman. I'm sure I'll find your chat in there. Okay. Ooh, Anxiety Lord and Money Over Mayo. We got 3 members now. Oh my. Excellent. All right. We are zooming up the membership thing. And if you can come up with a really cool shirt design, like one that's like, oh, this is cool, I will make it a shirt and I'll send you one. How about that? Get you shirts. And I hope if I get this shop set up, we can give away shirts, and I don't know what else, like phone covers. I have no idea what people use for this stuff. I like to think of it as a shirt, because I would wear shirts. I want to make like a Hawaiian shirt too, like a special Hawaiian shirt that's just a Houston We Have a Problem Hawaiian shirt, and sell that. I got to figure out how to do that. But I want to, like, for charity shows, I want to be able to like give away stuff to people who donate, and having a merch store allow me to do that. So, you know, do kind of what we did at Christmas, where we auctioned off the calendar, and why not? Why not, right? Oh, Cat's readjust himself. Yeah. Oh, Kitty, you're so soft. Don Caesar Shadem. I can't watch because I'm jamming with my band composed of college professors. Say hello to us, Houston. Hello, band full of college professors. What do you guys call yourselves? Tenured. Professor Don and the Klingons? I don't know. Oh man, look at these member things happening. Julianne, thank you. Monkey Butt Admirer. I forgot what titles he put on there. Monkey Butt Admirer. Science Team Problem Solver. Monkey Butt Admirer. That's right. All right, cool. Yay. Okay. Back to the chat. Hey, look at that. I'm only 30 minutes behind my hour behind. And Slayer J1 problem solver. Hoshi Gaming, dude, how do you not get impatient or aggravated at this crime and the time it takes for shit to fix itself? Please give hope speech. I was kind of asked to do this the other day. Like, there are things that are within our control, and there are things that are not within our control, right? So we can do what we can to kind of put the odds in our favor as best we can, because we're not the 1%ers. We're not the movers and shakers that, you know, they can buy 80 million shares of a stock, or they can short 100 million a day, and who cares? Like, they just can't do their thing. Those guys, they've got huge donations to political people. They bribe folks. They offer them careers outside of their SEC jobs or whatever, and they can do a lot of damage that we don't really have much of a response for. What we have is a huge number of folks, right? And there's a bunch of us, and we can be annoying as hell. And that's our superpower. That's what we can do, is we can make 60,000 phone calls to FINRA or the SEC or the FBI or to members of Congress, and we can keep hammering them again and again and again and again. We can go to town hall meetings, raise a hand, ask a question, and then put them on the spot and get them start talking about this stuff amongst themselves. And that's what we can do. Outside of that, right? A lot of these decisions are in the hands of decision makers, and I'm not one of those decision makers. So, the best I can do is what I can, and then kind of just twiddle my thumbs and go on YouTube and talk about it. So that's kind of how it works. We can push them to be proactive and fix it now. Or when the whole system collapses, they're going to pretend like, well, no one ever saw it coming, even though there's thousands of us calling them. Be like, hey, this can collapse the economy. Hey, you got to do something about this. Hey, let's fix it. They won't acknowledge us at that point. But when it all collapses and they have to make new laws and reintroduce Glass-Steagall and things like that, that's how they fix it. They either do it post-mortem after the shit's hit the fan, or they can do it ahead of time to ensure that when the shit hits the fan, it doesn't hit as hard as it possibly will. And again, that's like, it's out of our control. We can nudge them and tell them and see if they'll get on it. But Hoshi, we just shake our head and go, oh, some people's children. Pretty much my dad does whenever, like, one of my siblings does something stupid or I do something stupid. He goes, some people's children. So I'm not sure if that's the most inspiring speech you could have, but control what you can. Throw your hands up for the rest. Online entity, welcome to the science team. Awesome. BW brand. When my business burned to the ground in June 2022, happened at night. Fire consumed 8 million pounds of PVC, which made a black acrid cloud people saw and smelled 4 states away. A news event because it was over the ocean after a few hours. 8 million pounds of PVC? Holy smokes. Man, that's a lot of polyvinyl, man. Holy cow. That was just this summer. Dude. What are the chemicals that come off of burning PVC? I'm sure we could do some. All right, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrogen chloride, and water. So HC is the bad part that comes off of there. But you don't get any chlorine gas, so that's good. Okay. So carbon monoxide, bad. Carbon dioxide, bad. Hydrogen chloride, hydrogen chloride irritates skin, nose, eye, throat, larynx. Exposure to liquid hydrogen chloride may cause frostbite. Oh, crazy. Workers will be harmed exposure to hydrogen chloride. Level harms depends on the dose, duration, and work being done. Okay, so it seems more like an irritant, and can lead to pulmonary edema and even death at like high levels. So up in the cloud, over, gets dispersed, mostly okay. Probably just mostly an irritant at that point. But man, crazy BTW. John Castro, Houston, happy birthday. Go green. Go green? Jay, are they going to pick one or two banks, try to let them blow up, and let the other banks absorb them, and then bail the ones out that are absorbing as a favor? That seems to be the MO, right? One Wachovia and Washington Mutual went under. They basically did no bid awards to Wells Fargo. Got Wachovia for $1 billion or something, picked up, I don't know, 150 billion in assets, and Chase got Washington Mutual and got hundreds. It was the largest savings loan at the time, hundreds of billions in assets for like $1 billion, no bid, overnight. Basically, the FDIC said, "Hey, you want this bank, Jamie Dimon?" Jamie Dimon went, "Okay, here's some pennies, wink." And FDIC took it and just turned. This is now Chase. I wouldn't doubt that's the same thing. I mean, at this point, the two big banks that might go under in the U.S. are consumer banks, Wells Fargo and Bank of America. I think those are the two that are in the worst shape. Problem is, Bank of America has an investment bank that they own, so this complicates things because prior to Glass-Steagall, these banks could not have investment arms. They had to be, like commercial or investment. And now we've got investment and commercial into one entity, just like JP Morgan Chase. We've got Merrill Lynch and Washington Mutual. Washington Mutual, I keep saying that. Bank of America. So when those suckers go under, that's going to be a big problemo for everybody. I'm not sure who can pick them up. And if someone does pick them up, they're going to be such a gargantuan bank that if we don't antitrust it, then when those suckers eventually go under, which they will, there'll be no way to save them, right? So let's say Bank of America goes under and they get absorbed by Chase. So then Chase becomes Chase, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch. So two of the three investment banks that exist will now be owned by one bank. So we'll be down to two American investment banks, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, in this hypothetical, right? And they'll control, I don't know, like $5 trillion in assets. And then if Wells Fargo goes under, who can get them? Maybe Citi? Okay, so then Citi buys up Wells Fargo. We're down to basically two major commercial banks, a couple of regional banks. You might have Bank of the West. I heard Umpqua and Columbia are combining, so they're becoming like the new Washington Mutual in the Northwest. Bank of California is owned by Bank of Mitsubishi, so they're already part of a large conglomerate. Man, a lot of the local banks went under in 08, 09 and got absorbed by larger ones. Umpqua and Columbia got gobbled up a whole bunch in the West Coast, and now they're merging. Our local bank, we had this bank called American Marine Bank that was founded here on the island, and they lent out so many subprime loans. They went under and got bought by Columbia. And Sterling Savings went under for the same reason and got bought by Umpqua. So we're down to U.S. banks still exist. U.S. bank's pretty decent size, but man, one of our problems with inflation is that we have like 5 banks and we need 500. We have 3 investment banks and we need 25. We need to break these guys up or encourage the formation of new ones. If you are a billionaire, if you are a cajillionaire, you should probably think about forming your own investment bank. If you're Bill Gates or Elon Musk rich, make your own investment bank. Why not? You you can meet the insurance requirements, the bond requirements. Boom, you have a competitor to all these guys, and just do it. Why rely on them to do all that work when you can be a competitor to them? Start a bank. Do it. Okay, a lot of things just happened. Uh, 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 where was it? Online entity. Thank you. Squamps. What are the coolest aspects and niches of computer science or material science? Composite science. This includes metals of the meta variety. I have an opportunity to ask questions and shadow very connected people, and all I have is a wandering mind in a $10,000 scholarship. Well, I'm not too versed on material sciences. I did years ago like read a material sciences book cover to cover, but it was like a 10th printing that didn't have any of the figures in it, which was really annoying because it'd be like, to explain this thing, look at figure 7, and there was no figure 7. I'd be like, ah! I'm just trying to picture this stuff in my mind. It's not working very well. I think some of the neat things that folks are working on have to do with optics, and a lot of it has come from like creatures. So I think about you got a starfish, and a starfish doesn't have like a pair of eyes. Some starfish have these little weird organic crystals all over their little arms, and each one of them acts like an eye. And doing like interferometry, what they'd have like with a big telescope, we've got two giant mirrors that combine an image to make one very clear, high resolution image. It appears that these like brainless starfish somehow take in all of that light, combine it, and make one image out of like all their little arms pointing all over the place. They can almost see like 360 degrees if they really wanted to. They weren't like stuck on a rock or something. Uh, and then there's also research being done into cephalopods, octopus and squids. Some of the octopus who do really amazing camouflage work, they think that on the cellular level can also see through their skin. So they got their main eyes, right? Got their main eyes for like finding stuff to murder and whatnot. Uh, but they also have, they think, vision capabilities in their skin, so that when they like merge with a rock and they make their skin turn into that rock, it acts like an active camouflage. You've seen this like active camouflage where like the car in what was the Bond movie in Iceland? The Aston Martin had active camouflage. So it basically had cameras on one side that project an image on the side facing the viewer. Working on stuff like that. I wouldn't doubt if all sorts of material scientists are working on those things. Um, like nanobot repair stuff. Those things are really cool. Uh, you they got the self-repairing concrete now. Have you guys seen that? Self-repairing concrete. Yeah, this stuff. Okay. Nope. Get rid of the Google Earth. Um, it when moisture enters the system, it like bleeds out more material and makes a new concrete that sticks in it. It's pretty neat. Uh, I think this stuff might help save things like that collapse that happened in Miami Beach a couple years ago or last year. That killed 100 people. That condo that collapsed. It was fractures in substandard concrete that they think caused that collapse to happen. And that when in a humid ocean air environment, when you get cracks in concrete, the air reaches the rebar, causes the rebar to rust and then expand, which causes more fractures throughout the system. But if you had a self-repairing concrete, when a crack forms and humidity enters that system, the concrete seals back up again, allowing the rebar not to get exposed to air and moisture and rust, and makes things all better. That stuff is really cool. Bella's an upset monkey, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, poor dog. Um, what other cool things, monkey, happening in material sciences? Uh, he just burped at me. Um, I'll have to think about some. They're squamps. But they're, oh, hi, buddy. Yes. Hello. Yep. There's a monkey right there. Hi, monkey. Can we? Oh, can't quite see you. Can't get the camera to point any lower. Squamps again. Your answer was super helpful. These dudes don't typically hire folks with typical backgrounds for nerdy reasons. Polymorphic is a fancy word. I mean, at best, go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. Like, figure out why living concrete heals itself. Look at like active camouflages. Look at nano repair. What's the stuff that like stone guard paint? Weird things like that are like super hard when you paint it on a surface. Is almost like diamond hardness and protects from chips and cracks, and a lot of that is like kind of like chemical plating. And then you got the stuff that certain nanotechnology metamaterial companies are working on that can be used for like defrosting windows, providing Faraday cages, being antennas, blocking certain wavelengths of light so that like lasers can't pass through, or certain radio waves. Those things are pretty cool, and I wouldn't doubt we'd see them in membranes of batteries and screens on phones, all sorts of stuff. Javi A, welcome to Problem Solver. All right. Okay. Oh, my voice is already getting scratchy, monkey. It is. It's getting scratchy. We're only 45 minutes in. And I'm only an hour and 15 minutes behind. Yay. Andrew Stewart, Houston, am I an asshole because I think Blazing Saddles is funny? I think it makes racism look silly, but one of my friends disagrees. That's entirely the point. When Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks wrote it, their entire thesis was to make racism look silly. That's why it is such an important film. Yes, it's a funny comedy, but it was a film. It was probably the first film to really make racists the butt of the joke. You had other important films like In the Heat of the Night, where you had black man slap a white man, things like that you hadn't seen before, asserting their power. But like, the shock of that versus making the racist suddenly, look at this idiot. This guy's so stupid. He's such a dumb, backwards, like knuckle dragger. It like gave power to people to make fun of these racists and sucked away power from the racists. People say, "Oh, you couldn't make it today." Yeah, you could. You totally could make it today. I don't think it would have the same impact because, the first time you're exposed to something is really, really, really powerful. This week while I was like laying in bed being, I made a couple lists, and one of the lists was like my top 10 action films of all time. And every single one of those movies I put on that list, the first time I saw it was like the first time I ate filet mignon. Growing up, my mom would get the cheapest steak because we were poor. She worked as like a house cleaner and was a college student, and we were poor. And once a month we'd have steak or something other than just like mac and cheese and salad. And she'd get the cheapest steak, cover it in salt and pepper, some lemon, throw it in the oven, and just broil the shit out of it. And we'd have like shoe leather steak. It was good. It was steak. In my entire life, that's what steak was. So I never really went to a restaurant and was like, ooh, steak. Because in my brain, it was just like, you chew on this thing and there's like gristle and fat and it just was like beef jerky. I get a burger because a burger was tender and that's what I get. And then I was maybe 16 and one of my mom's friends from her youth came to visit us, and her husband is a professional bass fisherman. I'd never heard of that there was such a thing as professional bass fisherman, but he was a millionaire. He had like a TV show on like the Outdoor Channel and fished for bass for money. And they lived next door to Ted Williams in some fancy development in Alabama. Anyway, we got to a fancy restaurant, his treat, because he's rich. And he's like, "Get anything you want off the menu there, boy." And I was like, it's all French. I don't know what any of this is. He's like, "Get yourself there a filet mignon." And I was like, "Okay, one filet mignon." And the waiter's like, "Filet mignon?" "Yes, one of those." And he's like, "How would you like it cooked?" And I was like, he's like, "You want some medium rare?" And I said, "Medium rare." He's like, "Okay." So out came this like little tiny steak. And I cut into it, and it just cut with like, it just like, I had my steak knife, and I basically touched it and went, huh, and cut it to pieces. And I was like, whoa, that's different than what I'm used to, which is like sawing with a serrated blade for a good moment until like a bead of sweat comes on your head, and then chewing on this thing for 20 minutes. And took that piece, put it in my mouth, and I was transported into another world. Absolutely, like, did not know that food could taste like this ever. Like, all I wanted was more. I was like, holy shit, this might be the greatest piece of food I've ever had in my entire life. This is amazing. I need to do it again. And a couple years later, my brother and I went to go see The Matrix. It was my senior year of high school. I flew down to California to go visit him during spring break. And I was like, "Hey, The Matrix got good reviews. Want to go see that tonight?" He's like, "Totally." We went to go see The Matrix. Our brains melted. We went, hid in the bathrooms, went and saw it again. And then hid in the bathrooms again and saw it a third time. We saw it 3 times in a row. Sorry, Cineplex Odeon. We totally stole from you. But we watched The Matrix 3 times in a row because our brains just couldn't comprehend what it was we just saw. Now, how revolutionary The Matrix was, right? If you are a 19-year-old kid today, 18-year-old kid today, the movie's been around for 24 years. You are already somewhat familiar with like the techniques and the digital work and the bullet cam and stuff like that you've seen in other movies. So to you, the revolutionary aspect of that film might not sit the same way. Just like, the revolutionary aspect of the Beatles don't sit the same way as bands that were fresh when I was young, right? Because like the Beatles existed in my brain forever, right? So there was nothing new and profound about what they did by the time I heard them 25 years later. So, Blazing Saddles in its time was super revolutionary and melted brains. People didn't know that you could do this, that you could satirize these racists in a way that made them the butt of the joke, and everybody just went, "Ha ha ha! This is amazing!" And you could use this language, and you could throw the slapstick in with the social commentary and make this like beautiful little bouquet out of it. So if someone were to do a film similar today, it wouldn't have the same impact because it's already been done. It'd be like, "Oh yeah, there you go, good job. You're carrying on the tradition. We get it." But Blazing Saddles was revolutionary in its ability to do that. What would be the term? I'm asking the dog who's on the floor here. What would be the term, Monkey, when you have like an first time experience that breaks your brain? Is there a word for it? It's probably a German word for it. Anybody know the German word for when you first experience something and it melts your brain? Melting brain and experiencing? I don't know. But okay, now we're an hour and a half behind in the chat. Good job, Houston. Oh, my throat is scratchy. Okay. BWA brand, that idiot on the I-10 Twitter feed telling everyone nitric acid fumes are not dangerous caused me some stress. Fumes from my plant burning cause all exposed metal for miles to tarnish. Yeah, the guys didn't see that one. A truck full of nitric acid tipped over in the median and broke all the bottles. The acid's eating through everything in the truck and giving off these really orange fumes. Nitric acid fumes are really, really, really bad. And they're just letting the other lane drive right through the cloud. It's going to rust up those cars. It's going to scar the lungs of the people who breathe that in. Just dumb. There's video footage of people in the opposite lane who were upwind of it, watching all these cars drive through this thick orange cloud of nitric acid fumes. Now, if you're gonna produce nitric acid fumes, which when I reduce gold in my garage, I do, and you do not want to breathe it. You need to set up ventilation. You need to get that stuff blowing far away from humans so it can disperse in the atmosphere and be gone. And even then, it's like, less nitric acid than water in this jar. And we're talking that truck probably has 10,000 times that in there. When I get it delivered to me, UPS guy delivers it is my friend's husband. He's like, "What the hell are you reducing bodies? Like, what's going on?" Because I'll get these boxes. And the boxes are all foam, and they have perfect cylinders cut into the foam where the glass jars are set in. Because you need glass jars because it will eat the plastic. And you get 4 of them in this thing, and it's 4 1 gallons, so it weighs, I don't know, close to 40 pounds with the glass and everything. And it is perfectly form molded foam to go around it. So if you drop it, it just goes thunk, and then that's it. It doesn't shatter the glasses, whatever. Like you cannot spill nitric acid into your well. You can't spill hydrochloric acid. You can't spill sulfuric acid into the ground. It will just eat your pavement. It'll eat everything, and then make all these gases, and then it'll be days before you go back into your garage again. So, the delivery of this stuff is very, very, very special. You have to have like licenses and things in a lot of places to be able to receive delivery of this material. And I got set up. I built a hood vent in my garage so I can deal with this stuff. Because even just a little bit of it spilling into the atmosphere of the garage can kill me. It can totally scar the bronchi in my lungs, and then I can no longer get oxygen in, and I suffocate to death. And when it even just a little bit gets into your throat, you can feel it. You're like, "Oh shit, I'm dying." So I wear a 100 respirator, an N100 respirator with the big old gas things on it. I put on safety goggles. I've got, a thick rubber bib apron. I've got gloves that go all up my arms. Sometimes I wear a splash shield because the mask and the glasses don't quite cover the rest of the skin. And then I do my thing. And I got the hood vent going and the air sucking everything out, putting it up in the air and out over the house. Man, I would not be like, "That's okay, drive right through that." We're talking 20 ounces versus 20,000 gallons. Just nuts. Lost Ways, Pick a Destiny. I still have not watched Pick a Destiny. I tried to watch. Someone recommend Old Boy because I didn't have it on my action list, and there's no one that's streaming it at the moment, so I wasn't able to watch that. Sad Boy Houston, please tell us about the lobbying efforts you have planned, and I would love to help. Not so much. I don't know. I've got an idea that I've not worked on. I got to figure out what type of entity I can create. I'm sure it'd be like a super PAC of some kind, and then would either create a lobbying arm or pay for a lobbyist, or I just go do it. I don't know. But basically, I want to meet with every federally elected official, talk to them about passing a Retail Investors Protection Act, or even writing the legislation myself or with others, and presenting it to them like, "Hey, this is legislation. Will you sponsor this?" And seeing who's on board. I do think it is one of the few things that we can get bipartisan support for, because everyone has to invest. Everyone has to create a retirement plan for themselves. Granted, people in Congress get a pension after 6 years. Oh, my voice is starting to fail me. Oh, I don't know how much more voice I have. I can feel it. And but even then, like, you know, their family members have to invest. Everyone has to figure out how to invest for their retirement. And if you're being screwed over by these vulture capitalists and short hedge funds and naked short sellers and these market makers, it is stacked against you when it comes to making these plays. And it's also destroying American businesses. Like, if you want the tax base to pay for your government, you can't be destroying the people who hire workers, who get taxed on their profits, etc., so that a few hedge funds can make a quick buck. That's not a long-term strategy for, you know, making America a good, better, stronger democracy. So there's a lot of work I got to figure out how to do, get done, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Paratarian, which of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies are the best, and why is the Two Towers? It is the Two Towers. I mean, just the speech alone given before the attack on crap. What's the name of the castle? The one where the orcs come down the hill. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the best one. It's just the best one. Return of the King is just like, you know, fantastic action movie and then 2 hours of endings, which, you know, cool. But yeah, just like how Empire Strikes Back is the best of the original Star Wars, Two Towers is, because you have to have like that dark, burdensome down note to really like extrude the character development and to really hit home like how bad the bad guy is. And that's just what you need in those things. If you're having that 3-part trilogy, the middle one is always the best one. Local Wizard, hey Houston, do you think Netflix is going to take a serious dip after this password sharing fiasco? Might have to grab some puts. Yeah, I know more than a few people were like, yeah, fuck it, and they just canceled their Netflix thing. People were talking about Disney's subscriptions going down, but Disney had previously had the Indian Cricket League as they were the only broadcaster for the Indian Cricket League, so they had millions of subscribers from the continent of India who would watch it. And they lost the broadcast rights, so they went, oh, well, delete. So that's why it's important to have like sports rights. That's why Amazon fought to get Thursday Night Football. They've got like Premier League soccer and stuff on there too, because that will boost a lot of subscriptions. A lot of people don't care about television shows and movies. They'll watch sports, and they're obsessed with their sports team, so they will log into whoever has their sports team available. Michael Mystery, thank you, Monkey Butt Admirer. Michael Mystery is a Monkey Butt Admirer because Michael Mystery has sent Monkey Butt lots of beautiful things, such as the scarf she's wearing. Thank you, bud. And seriously, my voice is about to fall on my face. I don't know how much longer I got in me. I was feeling pretty good, but now I'm really scratchy. Okay. Yogi 2012, Houston. I live in Chemical Valley near the Kanawha River in West Virginia. Not that our water is any good to begin with, but just how effed is it after this new spill in Palestine, Ohio? It's not going to make things better. You're not going to see like chemicals in your water go down after this event. Yeah, it's I mean, where you are is probably pretty bad because are you pretty close to where that what was it, the what do they call it? Not the slag pile. It's the retention pond for all the waste from coal mining. It spilled and broke into the river and killed everything a few years ago. What was the name of that? Words are, I could tell that I'm still not better. Words are leaving my head. Pen name. See the 1992 movie Digstown, James Woods. Isn't that the one with like the washed up boxer? I can't remember much about it. It's got what's his face from Flight of the Intruder. Not Lou Diamond Phillips. That's a different actor. I have no names in my head today. Obviously, I'm not better yet. I'm having some halfheimers this afternoon. What's the name of that dude? Lou Gossett Jr. That's the name I'm looking for. I got it. Without having to look it up. I was just about to look it up. I've seen it. I've not seen it since 1992. I remember a lot of boxing. And that's what I remember about it. G-Font, wishing a healthy recovery for Guy Mandude. Yes! You can also help out Guy Mandude. His GoFundMe, you can type it in from here. That's annoying. Or you can click on the description and help him out. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Can't currently work. So he's got to, luckily lives in Australia, so his healthcare is decent. But he still has to eat food and pay for a roof over his head and everything. So by all means, help brother out there. G-Font, HW, thinking about adding some copper exposure to my portfolio given the electric vehicle transformation. Know any good copper miners? Some of the biggest copper miners are like Extrata, but I think Extrata is a privately owned company. Bingham, is it Rio Tinto? Yeah, Rio Tinto owns the Bingham mine in Utah, which is the largest copper mine pretty much ever. It's managed through Kennecott Utah Copper Corporation. Is Rio Tinto traded? Yeah, Rio Tinto's traded. They're a very steady stock. So, we can do 5-year, 60. Peaks every once in a while. Doesn't really drop below 55. Had a little drop at 2020 when everything crashed, but it's right back up again, $89. So the volatility keeps it bouncing between these 150. So it just bounces between there as it goes. But Rio Tinto owns so many mining rights everywhere that the minute a mine plays out, they open a new one. They have so many mining rights. They're huge. Okay. Yeah. But they've got huge things. I think Extrata, which owns the Kidd Creek mine in Canada, I think they're private. Oops, Extrata. Yeah, it's Anglo-Swiss mining outfit. They are, yeah, they did a reverse IPO and became a private company. But they're doing $30 billion a year as of 2012, the last reporting year. So it's probably 10 times that now. But they don't have to report anymore because they're private. But they're the ones that own the Kidd Creek mine in Canada, which is the deepest hole in North America and the closest point to the center of the earth a human has ever gone. So, they got that going for them. Andrew Stewart, Houston, to me, do another charity this month for Ohio and Pennsylvania. I know it's been the community always comes through. Probably. When is last Tuesday this month? It'll be on the 28th, so last day of the month. So 2 weeks. 2 weeks we'll do our Charity Tuesday, unless some other giant global calamity happens and, it is what it is. Seems to be a lot of those recently. But and preventing whatever alien invasions that we've got coming our way. Jason Blackwell, hey Houston, I got fired from another bank because I pushed a guy. It's not my fault. He asked me to check his balance. All right, moving on. BOFH, Jason, how close do you think we are to a politician or billionaire taking things too far and causing mass riots? I'm amazed that we haven't had a crossing the Rubicon moment, but with the mess in Ohio, I'm wondering how close we are at this point. Man, so gotta see the throat here. Americans have really lost our ability to like stick it to the man. The French are amazing at it. Like the minute the French government's like, we're gonna do this mild inconvenience, the French are like, screw you, let's light cars on fire. And that's just the way the French roll. They protest over everything, they strike all the time, and you know what? It works really, really well. I would think that if the United States workers could organize a general strike, right? We're talking not even a long one, 5 days, right? You tell everyone, hey, stock up some food for 5 days, hang out. We're doing a general strike. We're shutting everything down. We're shutting down trains, cars, stock market, grocery stores, gas stations. We're shutting it all down. 5 days. And we want living wages. We want universal health care. Universal health care. We want like improved environmental conditions. We could get whatever we wanted. And just like, just flex, be like, fuck you, this is what we want. And the powers that be, it would be enough to ruin some of those guys, right? They might be on a short, I don't know, some sort of short-term loan. And in those 5 days, they don't earn enough revenue to pay off that loan they have, and it could put entire companies under. So there would have to be a lot of folks on board to get something like that to happen. And what word I'm looking for? I don't understand the folks that will simp for these billionaires and bankers. Like, you can say, hey, you live in this little place in Ohio, your entire town might be unlivable as a result of this industrial accident. So how about we say, screw you to the regulators who did a poor job. Screw you to the companies who paid for those regulators to do a poor job. And let's do something about it. And they're like, well, you just gotta just accept the fate that comes your way. I'm like, no, that's like, you can still raise a stink. As much as things can be out of your hands, you can still raise a stink about things. So raise stinks, stinky raises, stink those raises all day long. Rouse rabbles and raise stinks. That's what we need to be doing. And a lot of us who are outside of this region, Grant, this is a fairly heavily populated area of Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's only 100 miles from Cleveland. But people in the rest of the country, they go, oh man, that sucks, and then they move on with their lives. But there's people in other parts of the country, right? They have a refinery that explodes next to their house in Texas. They have a methane leak out of a pipeline that goes on for a decade outside their neighborhood in California. They have a river that catches on fire. They have nitric acid that tips over on the highway. Everyone goes, oh, that sucks. This stuff happens all over, and we don't look at it collectively as oh, look at all this damage we're doing by not regulating this stuff, by not having modern safety standards, by not having, unionized workers who aren't super tired and overworked managing these things. This is how we destroy ourselves. Just because, Union Carbide or whatever wants to make a quick extra buck over the few years, and then they cause $1 billion in damages. That's not the long-term strategy. I think about Hurricane Katrina. That in 2004, the Army Corps of Engineers said, "Hey, Bush administration, we need $30 million to shore up these levees." The Bush administration is like, "Nah, we'll just won't do it. And we'll save $30 million." And then the levees failed during Katrina and caused $500 billion in damages. So we could have prevented $500 billion in damages for $30 million, right? Union Carbide and the train companies could have prevented however many damages we had from this derailment by embracing the modern braking rules that had been passed by the Obama administration. But they wanted to save a few bucks. You got like, nah, insurance will cover it. And what they're offering is $25,000 total. $5 per resident in East Palestine for the damage that derailment caused. $5 per person. That's what they've offered. Like, that's not. They're going to lose so much in a court case. And the court case will take 15 years, right? There'll be people that die of all these horrible diseases in that time. Just like there was when the World Trade Center fell and everyone had like asbestos coat in their lungs and stuff. It took 20 years for a lot of those folks to see anything from it. A lot of those first responders. So what you gonna do? What the justice takes a long time for that stuff to come through. So general strike. I love general strikes. I think we should general strike way more often. And just get ourselves like, oh, you know what? We won't have television today because we're gonna be general striking. Do it. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's the reset of the chat. So I know I'm like 2 hours behind. So, okay. Oh, there we go. B-Ball 3710. Why are climate activists and media oddly quiet about the Ohio burn? Did they get the stand down from the higher ups? I don't see any climate activists being quiet about it. The local media is very loud about it, but the national media is not. I do think the national media needs to get a bit more on board with yelling about this, what's happening in East Palestine. But I don't see any climate activists who are like, "Oh, mom's a word." I see them constantly tweeting about it, writing letters about it, articles about it, talking about it as much as they can. Danny Motes, Houston, happy birthday. Thoughts on not investing now and just holding cash? Or do you see any good buys now? So much of how the market acts right now is dependent upon securities held by the Fed and reverse repo, keeping liquidity out of the market. And that it seems that any investments we do has to be looking at which way up or down the reverse repo or some federal securities holdings go. That seems to be the biggest determiner of what the SPY does out of everything else. So, in my brain, I say, oh, the economy's fucked. Everyone's preparing for a recession. Real estate's collapsing. Car sales are collapsing. We've got World War III. We've got environmental disasters. We've got Chinese real estate bubbles. We've got all this crap. The economy should tank. And it just doesn't because it's being artificially buoyed by the Federal Reserve via reverse repo and the Public Protection Team. So, it can't last forever. Crashes come. And someone's going to mess up. And it's what's coming. I just don't know when it's gonna die. Like I keep seeing like, oh, it should be dead by now, certainly, because everything's fucked, and then it doesn't, and everyone just goes on as if everything's normal again. Oh no, we're having like 30,000 repos a day of cars. We're having, housing sales collapse and the value of homes diminish everywhere, and I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand at all. Like I don't know. Buy gold, sit on that, and just go harumph until the shit doesn't hit the fan. And a rule that Houston regarding Sears, would bondholders or shareholders be paid first? Also, since Sears is resurrecting stores, would Sears begin trading again rather than paying out shareholders? This, I think, is the news that they're planning for around the 1st of March. Because they are having a liquidator liquidate things, or I'm not sure if they're in the process of liquidating things or if they're going to liquidate things. They've got a lot of land holdings that have to be sold, name brands, things like that. I mean, bankruptcy was all about jettisoning a whole bunch of debt. Like, get rid of this debt, we're not going to pay that stuff. And the bondholders that came out of that will need to get paid, that's for sure. But the amount of bonds owed is much less than the value of what Sears owns in real estate. So those bondholders will be able to get paid off, and shareholders should be able to get paid. Now, if they pay off the shareholders, it would probably be because Sears would be going private or ceasing to exist. If they go private, then they can still maintain the stores they're creating. And they would just pay us off. They would probably do an IPO again in the future. But if they continue with the stores they have, then yeah, Sears should, and they don't go private, then Sears should eventually start trading again. Would be my thought anyway. Just waiting for March 1st, I guess, when we hear back from the liquidators. Oh, my voice is failing me so bad. It hurts so much. I'll do nine more minutes. 9 more minutes, and then I don't think I have a voice anymore. Sorry, short show. Oh my goodness, my voice is so sore. Kitty. Whew. Okay. Okay, now I'm finally at the beginning of the show. We're an hour and 21 minutes in, and now I'm to the point where everyone's like, hey, you're muted. Hold your teats off. Hey, Houston, happy birthday. 4 days is too long to not be able to get your rocks off. We missed you. Missed you guys too. Sorry. I still wear like my mask when I go out, but I work at this restaurant and I see like 2,000 people on a shift, and it's just, they're spitting and they're laughing, and I think I still get things. Okay. Logic Dustbin Houston need to figure out how to turn on membership gifting. Membership gifting? What is that? How do I do that? Membership gifting. Oh, add membership links to add intro videos to your offer screen. Okay. There's some things in here I didn't notice before. All right, I'm gonna look into that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. She get Northwest to design for you. Her drawings are really good. Sure. Then sell them for like $1,000 each, right? Because that's yeah. Black Bezos, is Finner going to speak on MMTLP soon? Probably not. Not until the court says something. My guess is that there's mums a word from their lawyers at FINRA to talk about it. The people call now, like, we're done with it. It's a private company. We have nothing to do with it. Quit calling us. That's what they keep telling folks. Even though the stock has not been deleted. and it still lists a U3 halt on their website. And the buy buttons and sell buttons have returned to various brokers. Weird. Grape nut lols. Would you say there are better odds of 2 more days of trading or settlement? Do you think FINRA will admit fault willingly or be forced? I don't think they'll admit willingly. I think they'll have to be forced. If they're forced to admit it, then we'll get our 2 days back. Beyond them being forced, I don't see how we get them back. That's that's the way it is. And Rolnick Houston, watched your interview on the Gist. You were great, but oh boy, I could listen to Josh read the dictionary and be perfectly happy. I didn't know Irish accents could do that. Josh he's got that Northern Irish accent, and it's very soothing. It's very soothing. It's very jocular. That's a good one. Video Brand Houston and Josh claim they have talked together 4 times, but I'm going to find 2 interviews. I've done 3 with Josh on his show and 1 where he came on mine. So we've talked 4 times. I can't remember when I had him on. Maybe a year ago. I talked to him about, because he's writing the Me to the Moon book, which is like still waiting for its final chapter because we're still in the middle of it. So my guess he's got 99% of it written. Now he's just waiting for like the catalyst to Me to the Moon. And Runic, I use Printful. They are great. Well, there's the first person to actually give me an opinion. So there's one. Anaronic, Printful, they are great. Thank you. That might be what all I need to push me over the edge. Andrew Freeman, finally get a chance to get on your live. Do you think the liabilities are too large? I mean, penny stock squeeze could cause financial ruin. There are hundreds of these squeezes, police plays, and the one out there is all it takes. They see people limit orders are 1,000 minimum. It'll be like me getting sued for 100 billion. I don't have it, never will. The difference is that you don't have access to the money printer, whereas the banks do, because the banks own the Fed, and the Fed can make treasury bills whenever it wants, Federal Reserve notes whenever it wants, and they can basically tell the Treasury print. So that's the difference, is that they own the printer, you don't. And that's because the levels of liability. You got the hedge funds who've done stupid stuff, right? They're at the bottom. Sometimes they pay for individual insurance policies for plays they make. Cool. The insurance policy should be able to cover that. Then it comes down to the prime brokers, the next level up. The prime brokers are the banks that lent them the money. And if these guys go under, the banks become responsible for it. They go, oh no, I'm responsible for it. I got to pay all this money, but I don't have it. And they go to the Federal Reserve and say, hey, Federal Reserve, give me money. The Federal Reserve goes, shit, here you go. And that's kind of the poor man's chain of liability there. Roscoe, so the brakes did this, you moron. I mean, that's kind of how a lot of train derailments happen. Like, if I am pushing on a box, right? I'm pushing on a box, a big giant box. There is give in the motion. Like my arms are kind of like these shock absorbers / pusher things, right? So there's motion in there. When trains are coupled, there is some give between the train cars. So if you have like a train braking, right, and the front of the train starts braking, the back of this train has a lot of momentum and still pushing, and that can cause a jackknife on the tracks, which would cause trains to go over. If you have a braking computer in your truck, I don't know if you've ever towed anything with a truck, but you get this little tow clip that punches into your truck, and you can set the braking speed for your trailer. So you don't want to jackknife your trailer. So you got horses or camping trailer behind you, whatever, and you got to hit the brakes really hard. When you hit the brakes, the trailer is still going that same speed and will be pushing against your car. So the trailer brakes will trigger, let's say a fraction of a second after you hit the brakes in your car. So it brakes, it coasts, and then the brakes lock for the trailer. You don't want to tap the brakes and then have the trailers lock while you're still driving along, because it didn't cause the trailer to bounce around and whatnot. So the modern braking systems have to do with this give and take in the coupling system for the trains, and with the amount of braking that has to get applied along the length of the train, and figuring out the timing sequence for when individual brakes get applied on each car along the way. And right now we don't have a modern system for that. We've got a Civil War era system where some brakes can lock up, others won't, and we got all this momentum pushing behind it, and it derails the train as it comes along. So that's why it's very important to modernize the brakes on this stuff. Again, we have 1,700 derailments a year. And most of those derailments have to do with the speed of the train. Whether it's a train going around the corner too fast and falling off the rail, whether it's, obstructions on the track and so on, just like jackknifing a truck, has to do with how it all comes together. EDB brand, the brakes are not instant being air brakes. So the first cars in the train line apply their brakes, and the trains in the back push against those cars. If the track has a weak point, that buckles. Well, there you go. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. My voice is killing me today. I gotta drink like a gallon of water. I don't think I can do it in a half hour. It's much better than it was on Monday, but it's not so much better at the moment. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done for the day. If I've got some voice tomorrow, maybe I could do a short show tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Friday. Sorry, I don't quite have it in me yet to do a full 2 hours plus. Monkey Butt's been stuck on the floor the whole time. I'll tell you what. We'll give her some treats at the end of the show here, so she can, that's your payment for. Yeah, come up here. Come on. There you go. Get it. Oh yeah. Nom 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 nom. And that's the cat's rent. That's right there. Nice shirt, by the way. Yeah, I wonder where I got it. I've heard the name of these shirts. There's a particular style Hawaiian shirt that where they take like the fancy fabric that's all like clear and robust, and they turn it inside out and make it kind of faded. I don't know why you'd want to make your bold colors faded, but it's a style that they came up with in like the 50s in Hawaii. Yeah, but it's a good shirt, isn't it? Right, Monkey? Want to come up here? One more? Yeah, gonna get it. Get it. Oh, you got it before I did. There you go. Okay. Pauling Brock. So 1554 today. Someone bought 21 million shares of Ape. The price action did nothing. That was nearly double the entire day's trade volume. How can that be? Dark pools, baby. That's dark pools. That's somebody making a sale off the books. That's what that is. Okay. Monkey Butt. You're a good dog. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll catch you later. It's gonna be easier for me to type with my thumbs than it is talk right now. All right. It's not dark outside yet, so you get one of these. Oh, it didn't happen. Try it again. There it is. Can't think of anything to do at the end of the show. My brain is cooked. Oh, hey. All right.